short people problems. Stay. Okay. All right, let's do a really vulnerable piece. Okay. There was a song that my parents played a lot growing up. And I didn't realize why they played that in the car so much until I was in a department store with my best friend Raven. And we're like laughing at a pink gaudy mirror, right? Because it's Ross's. If you've ever been to Ross's, you know this. And we're laughing and I hear the song. And I just start crying and I'm like, whoa. You know how you like leave your body for a minute? And Raven, she's like, girl, are you okay? And I'm just like not there, right? And it hit me. So the song that was playing is Coward of the County, which is an old country song. And it goes like this. Promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble when you can. Now it won't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man. My dad was one tough son of a bitch. Came up from nothing, deep in the mountains of Chuckey, Tennessee. A real mountains man, a real cowboy. That's why he named me Shane. And I was a daddy's girl all the way. Y'all, one time when I was 8, I saw him stab an undercover cop in the eye with a hunting knife during a poker fight. It was wild. I even got to see part of the trial. When I told this story just as passionately to my half-sister, she said, oh my God, no child should have to go through that. That's when I realized the memories I thought were badass were trauma, explained years of my own violence. When I was in high school, I wanted nothing more than to feel the clink of teeth across my knuckles. Violence became a language, was more than just a habit. My dad, he had this habit of walking into a bar and yelling, which one in here is the biggest, toughest son of a bitch? And one night, y'all, a man told him he'd go get his gun and we'd see who the biggest is. The way I heard it is, my daddy calmly nodded his head, walked to his truck, got his gun, and shot the man dead. I didn't get to see that trial, but I remember daddy being gone for a while and mama being afraid. You see, in our family, fear shows itself as rage. Plot twist, he actually got off on self-defense. But they say there's still another body buried somewhere in the mountains. Years later, I found out my biological mother stabbed her ex-husband. And I'll tell y'all a secret. I'm terrified I'll end up in the same situations as my parents, trying to untangle trauma from tradition, generational curses from lineage. I really need God to respond to my text messages because I got one hell of a question that might carry hell with it. If a person is capable of murder, do you think it's hereditary? They're doing studies on the murder gene. How much of my DNA can be linked to a DOA, an RIP. I got trust issues with my cell tissues because there's still a part of me that feels weaker without the anger. Thinks that if someone is upset at me, they're coming. Because in my family, that's exactly what it meant. So what's the difference between paranoia and threat? Is it a lie to cry wolf if you actually believe the wolf is coming? And the irony is, most days I feel like the wolf thrown to the humans, trying to live in a world that operates the opposite from how I was raised, look myself in the face and not see a cascade of caskets, my pupils 2 barrels in front of 2 itchy trigger fingers. Plot twist. The kid born into the gang gets to go free because daddies don't survive long in this environment. I just have to worry about the blood backfiring in my bloodstream, handed down the haunting of all the men my daddy killed, till it becomes a prayer I sing for peace. So promise me, son, not to do the things I've done. Walk away from trouble when you can. Now it won't mean you're weak if you turn the other cheek. I hope you're old enough to understand. Honey, you don't have to fight to be a man. Thanks, y'all.
This one's called One Bird Singing in the Rain. always one bird singing in the rain. Thank you. Gary.
For those that don't know, this is a lady wooer. His name is Jonathan K. Rice. He's actually a fantastic poet. Was one of the very first ones that helped me get published way back in the day. Haven't seen him in a hot minute. One of my favorite poets in North Carolina as well. And people, he's also a visual artist too. So y'all please introduce yourself to Jonathan K. Rice. He is a staple in the community. All right, so y'all give a great round of applause.
She's awesome. So I have, I've known her for a long time. We met in Lincolnton many years ago, and it was Poetry Lincolnton, I think is what they called it. And they had a great open mic series there at the Cultural Arts Center there in downtown. And we've crossed paths here and there for a couple of decades now, I guess. So I have a new book out. I'm going to read maybe a poem from here. This is called "This Is Where I Came In" from Main Street Rag Publishing. But I have a few other poems that I'd like to read. I'll have to introduce this, give a slight introduction to this. Are there any Eastern Orthodox Christians in here? Okay, then you don't know this prayer. There's in Eastern Orthodoxy, there's this prayer. It's called from the 19th century. It's called the Jesus Prayer, and it goes simply, "Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner." And it was in a little book called "The Way of the Pilgrim," which was written by a Russian mendicant back in the late 19th century and didn't appear in English until like 1915 or something like that. Okay, that's all you need to know. So what I did was I used this prayer inspired by Allen Ginsberg, if you're familiar with Ginsberg's America, or Howl, and this is what came out. "Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Have mercy on me, a liberal. Have mercy on me, a friend of gays and lesbians, father of a trans daughter. Have mercy on me for giving money to the homeless, giving food to the hungry in a land of plenty. Have mercy on me, a friend of atheists, agnostics, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, pagans and Wiccans, anarchists, communists, democratic socialists. Have mercy on me for supporting the ACLU, the Southern Poverty Law Center, NAACP, Anti-Defamation League, Ralph Nader, local libraries, schools, and colleges. Have mercy on me for reading the New York Times, the Atlantic, Washington Post, New Yorker, Mother Jones, the New Republic. Have mercy on me for throwing away mail from Franklin Graham and other right-wing evangelicals from the Republican Party, or writing "fuck Trump" of the card enclosed and mailing it back. Have mercy on me for considering those who don't speak my language, who look different from me as my equals, for sheltering and hiding them if I need to. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me for drawing attention to myself as I protest, carry signs, and shout sometimes profanely to make a point to show my disgust and disrespect for the man who I did not vote for, who would like to lock up those of us who speak the truth, who thinks he's a king, an emperor, and untouchable. But even Rome fell, its empire crumbled. Remember Caesar. Remember Mussolini. There was a poet, his name was Eamon Liner, who died young, but he became a really important poetic voice in the late 60s, early 70s in Charlotte. He got his MFA at UNCG, way back, whatever. And years ago, I ran across a little book by him, and it inspired me to write this poem. And this is called Iron Hyperbole, Innocent Hyperbole, after Eamon Liner. Stone dilemmas exaggerated by local hominids fuel the need for advancement. Innocence is still a myth. Boredom is not a problem. Iron seeps from nowhere like gods and minotaurs, guarding explanations. Hands burn in fires as they reach for answers, burning hair, singeing necks, forging useful shapes of things to come. With prey and common enemy, carcinogenic prototypes rise amid tooth and claw, Adamic covenant forgotten, in future furnaces not meant for iron ore, but the metallurgy of races, of flesh and bone, of spirits lost. Apocalyptic dust blows through empty sockets that once held eyes that read of hope. Yet Kahila speaks, vanity, vanity, with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. Where is my servant? Her robes are salted by the desert winds that blew around the shoulders of Lot's wife, not far from the ghetto's battlegrounds. From iron to atomic age, it waits for millennia to pass, and waits as past is present, and wastes as futures meet our need for stainless steel, sharp as razors like the night that separates the days it took creation to get over God's intentions.
James, Ted, we do covers of not metal songs, we make them metal. Yeah. Summertime, I always feel like listening to country music. We're gonna play some country music. This first one's by Garth Brooks.
Glass of champagne. probably heard them before. This is not a trauma poem. This poem is not about trauma. It's not about what it takes to keep going after the impact in those first few moments of everything's changed. It's not about walking down hospital hallways that look like hallways where hearts are breaking. Not about having to count numbers out loud to hold back the panic when you're lying in the machine. No. This poem is not about trauma. It's not about a phone call from a stranger with news that takes your knees out. It's not about trying to talk through tears, getting out the goodbyes. Not about parents who abandon their children because sometimes biological imperatives don't work. No. This poem is not about trauma. It's not about the ripping or the tearing or the hurt, not the crying or the dying or the dirt, not shaking or quaking or lying or loss. No. This poem is not about a boy sitting outside his school building under a gray Texas winter sky, waiting to be picked up by a father who isn't coming ever again. And the man this boy has become still cannot understand why his dad didn't come for him that day or any day. No. This poem is not about trauma. Not needles or exit bags or exit wounds or scars or pissing blood. No. This poem is about still being here. It's about getting through it and standing back up when the trauma poems are the best we can do.
Yeah.